What up, people? This is Vigilante for 2 minutes and some change. That's 2.M.A.S.C. Then you know it's me, the original 2 minutes. iHeartRadio's in the building. Right now, next to me, I have Nelson L., the author of
The Introduction to the Truth of Life, man. Thank you for having me on 2 Minutes of Change. Vigilante.
What's up, man? So, I was talking about Kaepernick.
That's right.
And the thing is, Kaepernick took a stand last year.
Okay.
Not only did he kneel and not stand for the national anthem, he also gave money,
right,
and bought suits for people coming out of prison so they can help get a job. So he put his money where his mouth is.
Right.
He took all the risk, and America watched him. He took all the ridicule. He took all these things, and now he's being blackballed to the fact that he can't even get on a team, and he's better than most of the quarterbacks that's out there, especially the backup quarterbacks.
Right.
So he's not even getting a chance to even display his skill at 29 years of age.
Right.
And had a great season last year. He had 16 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. So on a sorry team like the 49ers. Right. But now they're not giving this man an opportunity to make money. You see 30-year-olds, 40-year-old white men that can get jobs. They can be school teachers. I remember Dallas had a school teacher. He was teaching school and got him to come and be backup quarterback. This guy used to be the quarterback for Seattle, and he did that. So it seems like black quarterbacks get thrown out. But in this case, Kaepernick is getting thrown out at a time where he's still kind of in his prime a little bit. And black people and athletes are not standing behind him. What do you say?
Well, I think he's a victim of kind of the gift and the curse, Vigilante. I think what's going on with him is he's woken up, right? He's conscious. He's recognized that each and every one of us possess a certain amount of power, right? And he's utilizing that. He's saying that I am a brand, I have a face, I have a name, and I know that people are watching me. I know that young children are emulating me or looking up to me. And so he's trying to use that name recognition, face recognition to bring awareness to a greater cause, which is what, from my understanding, his community, his culture, so on and so forth. Now, reason why I say it's a gift and a curse is because we all have the ability to do this. We can do this on our regular job. We don't have to be in the NFL. We can say, you know what, I'm not going to support that if it's not benefiting my political stance or not benefiting me culturally or what have you. But we are afraid to do it. Now, the curse is when you're first or when you're one of the first ones. And obviously, there's been other athletes. There's been Jim Brown. There's been some other athletes that we know have taken a stand politically or culturally. But I don't think there's been one in a while that has done it while they were actively in the league, playing, and at the top of their game. A lot of times we want to get conscious when we almost leave in the league, but I applaud him for taking that stand and realizing that the NFL has been using us for something much greater than just athletic ability. At one point in time, I think the NFL was set up to where we're going to get the best talent, the fastest runners, the strongest arm, and we're going to display that talent. Now the NFL and capitalism and the people behind it realize the NFL is a market unto itself, and we can sell beer, we can sell trucks and, big Ram F-150s and things of that nature. And so they're saying we can't have our brand being tainted or have our brand being scrutinized by the outburst of the athletes. And so now they're trying to suppress or blackball the athlete for wanting to take a stance. I commend Colin Kaepernick. They were trying to put some beef between him and Cam Newton and, saying they didn't like each other. I think Cam speaks out in his own way. You see LeBron wore a T-shirt said that I can't breathe right after Eric Garner was choked out. Yeah. So you're starting to see athletes starting to now come into the knowledge that, we have some power out here, whether it be politically, whether it be culturally, whether it be socially, on our Facebooks and our social media. And so now I think it's doing something that I don't think the founding forefathers of the NFL and the NBA thought would ever happen. Yeah. This was just supposed to be my best slave, can we go there?
Yeah, we can go there.
Okay.
On this show you can.
Okay, cool. I got a little plantation over here and you got one on the other side of the river. We're going to see who's got the fastest workers, so to speak. Yeah. And so now they realize, man, this is more than that. This is shifting consciousness. It's selling clothes. It's selling TV times. It's selling sponsorship, Nike, Under Armour, Reebok. It's big money. Billions and billions of dollars. Don't have nothing to do with playing ball.
Nope.
It's all got, wrapped up in these other things. And so now they're scared these athletes may mess up their marketing and branding potential. And, can we get on NBC, ABC, ESPN? Now we talking about different markets.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting. I don't, profess to have the answers on this. Shout out to my man. I think if we come together as a culture, we could definitely employ him. But I think it's also a prelude to why we need to own the league.
Okay. And that goes into the next thing is, have we as a people let Kaepernick down? Because we should be demanding, if this was the 60s, in my just guesstimation,
right,
if this was the 60s, X would speak out about this.
Right.
King would speak out about this. There would be boycotts and things like that you're basically in front of our face. This man didn't burn the flag. We've seen people burn the flag.
Right.
This man simply kneeled down and not participate in the national anthem, especially when it goes to commercial. It was so important that why would the national anthem come on during regular season and go to commercial break?
Right.
They don't even watch it.
Right.
Unless it's the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's the only time we get patriotic because the world is watching.
And they paid somebody a bunch of money.
Yeah. To sing it or something like that.
Right.
But this guy kneeled down, quiet protest.
Right.
It's almost like the fact that Martin Luther King marched in nonviolent, but he was met with the worst type of violence.
Right. I think sometimes the less is more theory approach is because he didn't, take his raise his T-shirt up and have a slogan on another T-shirt. He quietly took a knee. I think it spoke a volume in silence. And so I think it also, what they were scared of, maybe not that he was just kneeling down, but who else might he infect? And that's always kind of been a thing. When you get that one guy that's wanting to speak out, you hurry up and get him away from everybody else. I think, to answer your question, I think what we've done as a culture, it's not only with Colin, it's with our HBCUs, it's with a lot of, our independent music artists. We want to see that spirit. We want to see that strength from our young men and women. And then when they show it, we don't support them. And that's the hurting part. That's like the Charlie Brown when he's ready to kick that football. Yeah. And he's running. He's got his strength up. These young guys out here are smart. They're intelligent. They're learning. And now they're ready to exercise, almost like if you want to use like a bird leaving the nest, they're ready to spread their wings. And we as a generation, that has gone before them, I think we need to support it. And if nothing else, come to the aid of the athletes or the young adults who have a voice or have something to say. We need to be able to provide a platform. That's one thing I like about what you're doing. I think if we start saying, they're not going to give our story in the right light, or they're not going to give us a platform to tell our story, we need to start creating those platforms. And then Colin won't be misunderstood. He'll be able to say, this is why I'm doing it. Yep. An interesting thing, too, and then I'll yield the floor, is, it's coming from our athletes. They all are us. They're all black. I always say that we everybody. You got that one drop. We love you. So it's not that. But it almost seems like the ones who have been raised in a different culture. I'll take Barack Obama, for example, right? So he's raised by his white grandma and white grandpa or whoever, grandparents. And so it's almost like, he's got the genealogy because there's the dad, or there's that element that's us, but they're not raising us with the us mentality.
Exactly.
Right? So if I take you and don't infuse you with all these, you can't do that. No, because how I understand it is, and this, may be something you can relate to or not. This is how I always understood it. The black family is always telling the child, no, stop it, quit it, put that down, don't touch that, you can't do that, you boy, they're going to do this to you. And the white family is almost the opposite with their children. Their children got to run in the house. They can talk back, slam doors, stomp up and down the steps, all the stuff we couldn't get away with. But, what they were teaching them was really, once you got your mind made up, can't nothing stop you. I'm your mom. I can't even tell you what to do. And they give them that kind of empowerment. And so when the child grows up with that in their mind, then there's really nothing that can stop them. Like Barack wasn't in the hood where he was, being told every 5 minutes, you better not go down there. You better not say that. You can't do that. You better stop it. And we as adults, as parents, we got to start putting those restrictions on our children. So Colin Kaepernick, he wasn't raised with that. Barack wasn't raised with that. And is it just a coincidence that now these are the ones bringing in social change and conscious change because they haven't been raised under that iron fist of the black mama telling them no, 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 no every time you get up out the chair, or every time you get out of line, you're in trouble. I think if we take that approach, not necessarily that we have to totally back off our children, but I think we know where that line is. And I think if we say, you know what, we're going to give our young men some more encouragement. We're going to give them the ability to make mistakes without jumping down their throat and making them feel all bad. Because I think that's what we do. We know the child is running around, and as soon as they mess up, we want to just go off. And guess what? Part of messing up is part of learning and growing and becoming an adult. You got to make a few mistakes. I don't think that child, as we raise our children, we understand the effect that we put on our kids like that. And so now when we're adults and we want to support Colin Kaepernick, and I'm his peer, I've been taught all my life, be quiet, don't say nothing. When, don't shut your mouth. And so now we're adults, not saying nothing, cowering down, afraid to make a mistake, afraid to be men and own up to mistakes, ready to just lie about mistakes or not really express who we are. Maybe I really felt like him about the anthem, but I'm scared to take my knee because, my conditioning was always shut up and keep your mouth closed and, do whatever.
Make your money and
be quiet. And they weren't raised like that.
And I think that's the problem. I think what's going to happen if we let this happen to Kaepernick, just like with protests that's out now, they're going to say, well, they're not going to they don't have effect no more.
Right.
And then I think you're going to stop the next athlete that probably would take a stand.
Right.
Why should I? Look what they did to Kaepernick. They blackballed him. And that goes back to what you said. If they blackballed him and I want to say something, but man, I need my money. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm not going to do it. But if Kaepernick did that and me, you, people all went at the NFL, it would change the culture just like that.
Just like that.
Just like with the transit system, they had to start letting them go sit in the front of the bus. Because we're firing bus drivers because we can't pay them no more.
Well, we can't get our money. See, I think another thing that we could do, too, is whenever you see, even if it's a bad act, you see the other side, if you will, start raising money. So Dylan Ruth goes into the church, kills 9 people. Next day, it was $4 million into an account.
Wilson too, that killed Mike Brown.
It's millions of dollars in an account for defense fund, for raise the family, for whatever that need to be had. We don't do that. I'll take another person, and this is not from Dylan Roof. He was his own little personification of evil with what he done. But let's take Oliver North, for example, right? So Oliver North is part of the Iran-Contra scandal with George Bush Sr., and who was the head of the CIA at that time, and then Ronald Reagan, who obviously is not living anymore. But right after that happened, obviously Reagan pardoned him, but he started getting booked to go do lecture series on college campuses. Harvard, Yale, Cornell University.
Television shows, radio shows.
All these different places. He knew he didn't have a career in the military anymore because, well, you got found selling guns for drugs.
Sacrifice. Well, we're going to bring you back.
But we're going to bring you back. What if we came up with something, okay, Colin, you're not in the NFL anymore, but we want you to come to this college. We want you to come over here, and we're going to pay you to tell your story. Why did you take a knee? What's going on with you? And we could create something to where athlete would know, if I do take a stance, I can still feed my children. I'm a young man. I'm 23, 24 years old. I can go around and talk about it. I can be politically involved because I know that my community will support me.
And that's the problem.
And that way they can still do that. But now if they stand up and say something, it's almost like they got to take the sacrifice.
By yourself.
Pew, get knocked down, snipered down, and the rest of us just turn our head and look the other way.
Yep, and that's the problem. And that's almost the John Brown effect, going over there trying to save the slaves, but they so traumatized.
Right.
They don't know to get the guns to fight back.
Right.
I'm not moving. You know what I'm saying? Because and Harriet Tubman said that she would have been able to save even more if they would want to leave.
But look at it like this. We'll pay $150 to go watch Colin Kaepernick play at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you pay $20 to come hear him talk?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he can make a little money.
Yeah.
And we could figure out what his stance is. And he could tie into grassroots movements that feel similar to how he feels.
Yeah.
He could be a face to broaden your movement. Your movement could support him and keep him fed. Yeah. We could do this. But we got to change that mindset.
And that's the cool thing. Before we get out, man, let's talk about your book, man.
Man, well, this is the thing. The book is really about bringing us together. It's called The Introduction to the Truth of Life. And what I have done is broke down some very fundamental principles that we all have to have. And these things transcend gender. It transcends sexuality, transcends race, it transcends economic levels. You know, certain things are applicable. You make a bunch of money, I don't make no money, but we still got to breathe air, all of us.
Yeah.
You know, so what it's about is pulling together these certain elements to say, listen, this is where we all do agree on already, and now let's work from there. You know, so many times we try to start working from a place of disagreeing. Well, you don't like this and I don't like that. We'll sit down and talk about it. We get up, we go off, and it never goes anywhere. You don't come to my side, I don't come to your side. Mm-hmm. But if we start at a place where we say, okay, well, we can all agree on this. In order to get some progress done, the lights have to be on. Mm-hmm. Okay, nobody's arguing that. That's where we need to start at. What is the nearest place where we can agree and then move forward from a place of unity and togetherness? And I think if we walk this path together, most of us are going to find out that, hey, what's good for you and is probably what's good for me. You know, what's not good for me, if we're breathing the same air, drinking the same water, eating the same food, you know, what's good for you is good for me. What's good for me is good for you. And I think for those who may not agree, it'll be a separating point to where you can say, oh, you don't believe that, love is better than hate? Well, then I'm happy I know that about you now.
Yeah.
So it's just a starting point so we can start coming together versus separating. And I think if we can do that, a lot of problems are going to be solved in the process.
So where can they reach you to get this great book?
Right now, we are working almost exclusively on IamNelsonIll.com. I wanted it to start on there because I want to drive traffic to that so we can get the numbers moving to, actually be able to go to some different markets and say, hey, listen, this is what is happening in my area. So I live in Kansas City. I'm asking the surrounding area, really the whole nation though, go online, IamNelsonIll.com and purchase the book. But if you're from the Midwest, if you're from the heart of the country, I'm really double downing on that, double downing. I want you to get it because I feel that change comes from the heart. Just like within the human body, if we're going to affect the nation, we need to start at the heart of the nation, get the truth out, and then that way we can start moving from there. But IamNelsonIll.com is where you can purchase the book. The hardback copy is there, the ebook is there, and then also a paperback copy. And then if you come and see me speak somewhere, I'll definitely make sure I take time to sign it. If you got the book, I'm signing it.
No doubt. And also Instagram and all the social networks?
Absolutely. I am Nelson Ill on Instagram. I think it's L Nelson on Facebook. But if you start Googling L Nelson, E-L, then Nelson, or flip it around, I'll pop up and you'll find music, you'll find books, comments, commentary. Just different things that we got going on. Got the show, the television show, I Am Nelson Ill.
Yeah.
And what we do, it's basically FBOE. on television.
Exactly.
Because I say we cultivate conscious conversations by asking uncomfortable questions.
Exactly.
We ask those questions other people don't want to talk about. We lay it out there in an intelligent way, try to get everybody's sides. I want all perspectives, so we want everybody on the show. So we do that. Also, I spotlight independent talent from around here.
Yeah.
So artists, if you got music, if you rap, if you do jazz, anything you do, I'm really with it. I'm promoting it. Everybody that's coming out of here that's serious, we're going to promote it. And then, we kind of talk about politics and just what's going on, current events, past politics, present, current events, and then future ramifications. Like try to look at, okay, we keep trending this way, what's going to happen? So the show's out there, man, and I'm looking for all Midwest talent and talent outside of here, but we're really putting a spotlight on our future talent, because we know this is what's gonna this is next. This is what's shaping the world. The West Coast did their thing. Shout out to them. East Coast, shout out. Down South, shout out. But now it's Midwest. And those of us who create an outlet or a platform for that are going to be next to the future. I don't want to say movers and shakers, but I'd say the ones who are shaping the next level of culture as far as music, whether if it's going to be pink hair and blue tennis, they're going to start copying off somebody coming out of here.
The Midwest.
So that's what we're doing, man.
No doubt. That's Nelson L, y'all. You know where I am, vigilante of 2 minutes and some change, man. So make sure you check us out on iHeartRadio. So there's once again 2 minutes and some change. We went a little over, but that was the change. Out.